When I was 11 years old, I formed a stamp club. I got my brother and some friends to join. I was the president, the secretary, and the treasurer. What more can I possibly tell you about myself that would be more revealing? So it will not surprise you to learn that I am now organizing the Control Freak Olympics, where control freaks can speak openly and honestly about how hard it is to get someone else to do what you want. I am happy to announce the must-buy reading list for all participants. First edition of My Way, the Right Way, a guide to unfulfillment. Book of rants, rants for all occasions, prize-winning rants, new up-and-coming rant writers. Expand your repertoire of rants so as not to bore the rantee. He or she will be impressed by your wide range of approaches to verbal decimation. And as a bonus, insults of last resort and deep emotional freeze, hitting below the emotional belt, 2 books in one. As for recovering control freaks, my name is Verna. I am a recovering control freak. I asked him to put brie on a plate with crackers. He put the crackers so close to the cheese that it was running all over them. I felt it coming on, an attack of, no, that is not the right way to put cheese on a plate with crackers. And then I stopped and asked myself, how do I know that? Is there a wrong way to put cheese on a plate with crackers? My sister assures me there is a wrong way. From that day, I started keeping a journal, which I called What I Did Not Say Today. For all the shit I think, which remains better unsaid. Now I sit in toxic silence, not saying shit, but thinking it. The family is the scene of the crime. Home is where the horror is. To say dysfunctional family is redundant. Hearing mom's key in the door turned me into a hyper-vigilante, waiting to see who would enter, good mommy or raging batshit crazy mommy. I wrestled away her control by becoming even better at being her than she was. I became my own mommy dearest. As a rageaholic, I know about losing one's mind, albeit temporarily. You are out of your mind when you are raging. That is what it is. An out of mind, out of body, out of reason, out of control behavior. Of course, there are the innies and the outies. There are those who freak in and those who freak out. It is so much easier to identify me as a nutcase. Just listen to me, watch my behavior. That woman is out of her fucking mind. On the other hand, the withholding, passive-aggressive, judgmental, feeling superior, holding it together person, not any less crazy. The overreactors and the over-withholders, outies and innies. Sad truths. Some people will never get over having known me at my worst. Oh, the damage done, indeed. They will never see or care that I have changed. They have just shut down permanently to me, and if they have the opportunity, cross the street when they see me coming. In normal circumstances, we will cease knowing each other, except in families, where you have to keep seeing each other for fucking ever. The other person dreads seeing me. I dread seeing that person's dread of me. Dreadlocked. What a relief it is to meet new people who have no history with me, nothing to forgive me for, or not forgive me. Let's rewrite the marriage vows. Do you, dear clueless person, take this equally dear clueless person and promise to stay for life, no matter how unfulfilling it may become? Do you? Did you? Take the F out of life, put it in fuck where it belongs. And what does that leave you with? The lie. I was never one of those people who fell in love. Was it fear of falling, I wonder? I always described it as being clitorized. I mean, really, what happens? There is a mutual moment of going for it, and everything and everyone else vanishes for at least 6 months. Suspension of reason. Now life is ruled by seemingly unsatiable desire. All those quirks, which eventually we will dislike intensely in the other person, are oh so adorable, cute, such a turn-on. Watching the other person licking off his lips is enough to induce heavy breathing. Shaking off those last drops from his penis in the bathroom with his hand on the wall is fabulously erotic, because after all, it is his penis, and soon it will enter all your orifices. Months later, you will begin to notice the drops of urine on the bathroom floor and the smudges from his hand on the wall, and it will make you fucking nuts. Why is early passion so conducive to strange behavior, such as a tongue in your ear? What did you say? I can't hear you. I've got a tongue in my ear. Evidence of major shift in the relationship. Tongue in ear? I don't think so. Of course, you can't always tell if a relationship will work long or short term. What one learns fast is that it will be difficult. That's how they are. Recipe for a potluck marriage. 1 Audi control freak, major ingredient. Add 1 innie passive aggressive, major ingredient. Add spice falling in love, which will dull all senses and make it possible to proceed and negate all reason and instinct, best eaten as a slow appetizer. Live together, known as moving into the stewing pot. Slowly marinate in sexual juices. Add spice, last forever, and get married, also known as putting the lid on the same pot. After 2 years or so, reality checks bounce, which can be seen by the bodies moving to separate sides of the cauldron. Add in drugs, alcohol, food, work, spending, debting, and that will enable the juices to simmer again. As the effects of the drugs and alcohol begin to take their toll and wear thin, add spice, let's start a family. And now you can walk away from the stove for anywhere between 0 to forever years. Individuals have their own boil point, cannot be known until it's there. Since ingredients vary from market to market, there is no consistent taste or aftertaste, so flavor will be familiar and different, depending upon where and with whom you break bread and promises. Yield the typical family. Serve as many as are seated at the table. Everyone will be served their just and unjust desserts, and everyone will dish it out. After X number of years, you can throw 50% of it away, and 40% of it will still be somewhat edible. Under 10% will be tasty and hot. You're still ahead of the game. Caution. Some people are known to have drastic allergic reactions. More observation. For many, the family is a sweet and sour recipe. We are always refining and cultivating our palates. Finally, to improve the broth, you learn you must make your broth and drink it too, a hearty stock. I have a new game which I call couples. Put me into a room with random people, give me a few minutes, and I will tell you who the couples are. The only people who will have totally different memories of something, constantly correct each other, and look on in disdain when everyone else is laughing at their partner's joke. They must be a couple. I have an opinion about every fucking thing, including the way my partner tells stories about his own life. I tell them better, of course. I often hear people lamenting their imperfections. I strive for imperfection. It would be a major step up from being totally whacked. I turned 70 last year and gave myself a surprise party. If you don't think turning 70 is one big fucking surprise, just wait. There are also benefits of older, forgetting old grudges. You forget what you were worrying about. No one tells you to grow up. You're as grown up now as you're going to be. I continue to strive to be better than I really am. I now know what I don't know, and that means I know more than I ever did when I thought I knew so much. I no longer try to predict much of anything. Something will happen, that I know. The old demons have retired to Florida and didn't even say goodbye. New demons waiting in line patiently all these years. What happened to the burning bush between my legs? All I know is the bald eagle has landed. The hair on my legs made off with my libido, and the hairs under my arms are migrating to my chin. Coming of aging, at this very moment, each one of us here and everywhere is the oldest we've ever been. I don't have enough time left to spend it reflecting on how it was. How it is much more interesting and compelling and requires all the attention I can give it. As you now can probably tell, on a good day, I tread water in the think tank. I used to think that we spend half of our lives trying to survive our childhoods. That was optimistic and naive. How to survive the family and life in general. Find as many possible ways to dissociate. Keep a toolbox of dissociative techniques nearby at all times. And may we all live long enough to survive ourselves. Thank you.